it's funny that this has gone, you mentioned somewhat viral, because to me, all the puzzle pieces kind of just come into play, right? And they come together very easily in my mind, from sources I've talked to, from people I've discussed this with, and from what we could all put together, right? So I think there's certain things at play. Obviously, the DK part's a huge part of this. Most teams don't pay 2 receivers. I know we just saw it happen in Cincinnati, but it's just not a norm. And then when you have other avenues that come into this, as well as what's gone on behind the scenes between George Pickens and the rest of the organization, and how this has kind of gone on during his tenure there, I think you compound that with the finances of it, with the way they were looking at receivers. They didn't do it, but looking at receivers in the draft, where money has to go. You got a TJ Watt contract coming around the corner that you want to do, probably happen at some point this summer. Like the arrows just don't point to a future in Pittsburgh. And I'll just be pretty clear, that's a pretty educated opinion.
If the DEFCON 1 here is he requests a trade publicly, however he might go about doing that, how close do you think the two sides are to having this happen, James?
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him wanting him to play in 2025. I think that's the other part that I look at this going, are they a better team on the field with George Pickens? Certainly are, right? I mean, I've asked around the league enough about George over the last season, honestly, and there's coaches that are like, talent-wise, and you guys would know this, right? I mean, he's up there, man. Like, he is up there in terms of talent.
When he wants to be, yeah.
It's exactly, right? And so there's all these, the point is, right, there's all these other aspects that are in play that come along with it. And so would they be better as a team with him on the field? Certainly. Could he play for them in 2025? I could definitely see it. They could get the comp pick after, the 2025 season and help their pursuit of a quarterback in 2026. But I do think if he makes it public, I do think some teams would be interested. I know some teams were interested around the draft. They didn't really see, you heard that in the clip, that I didn't really see a trade happening there. But, there were some teams that came away without receivers in this draft. I mean, the Cowboys were going to pick Tet McMillan at 12. And then ended up not going receiver in that draft. So there's some teams that would be probably interested, mainly also because he's a really talented player still. Coaches always believe when I get him in my building, things will be different, right? That oftentimes happens. And this draft class wasn't outstanding at the receiver position.
NFL insider James Palmer, our guest. The Cowboys thing, we heard different accounts of what happened there, not just the draft facet of it, but also how badly they wanted Pickens. Do you think that it ever got close between the Steelers and Cowboys on a deal, James?
I don't know how close it actually got. I do know that they're looking to do something right now. When I say they're looking to do something, right now they're going over their options, to my understanding. So they could still be looking at him as one of the options. I know that obviously a trade that a lot of people around the league weren't particularly fond of, with the Mingo trade and giving up the 4th that they did this past year. But I know they want to see how that plays out. Obviously, you don't make that trade and then, don't even give it an opportunity to get off the ground, even though people in other buildings were scratching their head at it. But I do think they're looking to add somebody else. I'm not sure how close it actually happened, but I do think they were looking, certainly, and Pickens included, because that was their dream pick at 12. And then they ended up having to pivot and go guard. And my understanding was, look at these D-lines in our division, like Philly, New York, maybe we try to protect Dak a little bit. Next best option.
James, to what extent, from what you're hearing, were the Steelers' efforts or any kind of trade interest blunted by the whole, well, if Mike Tomlin can't get this guy to consistently be accountable and be a team player, then what chance do we have of getting him to do that if one of the NFL's best coaches at getting through to guys can't do it?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I actually honestly didn't even think about it from that stance. But you're right. Nobody's better than Mike in kind of handling situations. And that reputation is obviously not just with you guys in Pittsburgh. That's throughout the rest of the league. I do think that could play a small part. But like I mentioned, I do think there's enough coaches out there that would go, okay, does this happen with a lot of receivers? Yes. Is this a trait that is in number one receivers? Certainly. And the talent is there. And when those 3 things are there, I think you do have a little bit more of an open mind of trying to make it work.